Hi everyone, and welcome to Grammar Minutes. Today we'll be talking about run-on sentences. We'll start by talking about why this is important, and then we'll go over a couple essential vocabulary terms before we get into what a run-on sentence is, different types of run-on sentences, and how to fix them. So let's get started. Run-on sentences are acceptable in conversations, but not in formal writing. Since run-on sentences are not grammatically correct, fixing them will improve the quality of your writing. When you include too much information in one sentence, it can be difficult for the reader to follow your ideas. Let's take a look at some vocabulary that's necessary to understand. An independent clause is another way to say a complete sentence. It has a subject, a verb, and a complete idea. For example, Rita was sick. That sentence has a subject, verb, and a complete idea, which means that it makes sense on its own. A dependent clause, on the other hand, has a subject and verb, but does not express a complete idea. It doesn't make sense by itself. It depends on another clause to make sense. For example, since Rita was sick. That is not a complete idea. This brings us to run-on sentences. As you know, an independent clause expresses one complete idea. A run-on sentence occurs when two or more independent clauses are not put together properly. There are two types of run-on sentences. The first are comma splices. This type of run-on sentence occurs when only a comma joins two complete sentences. For example, Rita is sick, comma, she stayed home yesterday. It's incorrect for a comma to join these two independent clauses. Another type of run-on sentence is a fused sentence. These occur when there are no joining words or punctuation between two sentences. For example, Rita is sick, she stayed home yesterday. As you can see, these two independent clauses are put together without punctuation or joining words. So how do you fix run-on sentences? To fix a comma splice, you can put a conjunction after the comma. Examples of conjunctions include and, so, for, nor, yet, but, or. To fix a fused sentence, you can put a semicolon between the sentences. For example, Rita was sick, semicolon, she stayed home. It's important to note that when you use a semicolon, the relationship between the two ideas must be clear and obvious to the listener or reader. You can also separate the sentences with a period. For example, Rita was sick, period, she stayed home. But I caution you against using too many short, simple sentences in your writing because it can make your writing choppy. Another way to fix a fused sentence is to make one of the ideas a dependent clause. By adding the word since, the first part of that sentence becomes a dependent clause. Since Rita was sick, comma, she stayed home. Let's take a look at what we talked about today. A run-on sentence is created when two or more complete sentences are joined improperly. To fix a comma splice, You can keep the comma and add a conjunction, which is a joining word. To fix a fused sentence, you can either separate the complete thoughts with a semicolon or write two separate sentences and separate them with a period. You may also turn one of the complete sentences into a dependent clause. For additional support with run-on sentences or other language issues, take a look at what the Learning Support Center has to offer for you. Thank you for taking the time to listen today. I hope you found it helpful.